Hello everyone. Have you recovered from PE yesterday? Wow, what a great sports day it was. I'm still tired today, but I'm still going to do my home learning. Now, yesterday we read chapter 7 and we saw that the farmers aren't going to give up. They're more determined than ever to get Mr. Fox. They're angry, they're furious, and they're going to keep digging. So, what's going to happen in chapter 8? Let's read chapter 8 today. We're going to do a reading quiz, we're going to do a writing activity, and we're going to do some more spelling. You've been doing amazingly at spelling so far. Keep up the hard work. Okay, let's start with chapter 8. Chapter 8. The Foxes Begin to Starve. That evening, 3 tents were put up in the crater on the hill. One for Boggis, one for Bunce, and one for Bean. The tents surrounded Mr. Fox's hole, and the 3 farmers sat outside their tents, eating their supper. Boggis had 3 boiled chickens smothered in dumplings, Bunce had 6 doughnuts filled with disgusting goose liver paste, and Bean had 2 gallons of cider. All 3 of them kept their guns beside them. Boggis picked up a steaming chicken and held it close to the fox's hole.
Can you smell this, Mr. Fox?
He shouted.
Lovely tender chicken. Why don't you come up and get it?
The rich scent of chicken wafted down the tunnel to where the foxes were crouching.
"Oh, Dad," said
one of the small foxes,
"couldn't we just sneak up and snatch it out of his hand?"
"Don't you dare,"
said Mrs. Fox.
"That's just what they want you to do."
But we're so hungry,"
they cried.
"How long will it be till we get something to eat?"
Their mother didn't answer them, nor did their father. There was no answer to give. As darkness fell, Bunce and Bean switched on the powerful headlamps of the 2 tractors and shone them onto the hole.
"Now,"
said Bean,
"we'll take it in turn to keep watch. 1 watches while 2 sleep, and so on all through the night."
Boggis said,
"What if the fox digs a hole right through the hill and comes out the other side? You didn't think of that one, did you?"
"Of course I did," said Bean, pretending he had.
"Go on then, tell me the answer,"
said Boggis. Bean picked something small and black out of his ear and flicked it away. "How many men have you got working on your farm?" he asked.
35,
Boggis said.
"I've got 36,
Bunce said. "And I've got 37, Bean said. "That makes 108 men altogether. We must order them to surround the hill. Each man will have a gun and a flashlight. There will be no escape then for Mr. Fox." So the order went down to the farms, and that night 108 men formed a tight ring around the bottom of the hill. They were armed with sticks and guns and hatchets and pistols and all sorts of other horrible weapons. This made it quite impossible for a fox, or indeed for any other animal, to escape from that hill. The next day, the watching and the waiting went on. Boggis and Bunce and Bean sat upon small stools staring at the fox's hole. They didn't talk much. They just sat there with their guns on their laps. Every so often Mr. Fox would creep a little closer towards the mouth of the tunnel and take a sniff. Then he would creep back up again and say, "They're still there."
"You quite sure?"
Mrs. Fox would ask. "Positive," said Mr. Fox. "I can smell that man Bean a mile away. He stinks." Okay, let's have a look at today's reading quiz. Now, as always, I've sent you a link to this quiz in your email this morning. Make sure you fill in your email address properly. If you get the wrong address, you won't get your quiz results back. So put your email address, put your name, and let's have a look at the quiz. Okay, so chapter 8 questions. These are all comprehension questions. They're to see if you understand what we read and see if you can tell me what happened in the chapter. So they're all got short answers, so you'll have to wait for me to mark them. So where did the farmers put up their tents? Have a look at the text again and get the right answer. What food did Boggis hold close to the fox's hole? Who wanted to sneak up and steal the food from Boggis? So who was that? How many men did the farmers have all together? Not one farmer, all together. What two things would the farmers give each of their men? So they do talk about them having a lot of things, but they talk about giving them two specific things. How did Mr. Fox know the farmers were still waiting outside his hole? So have a look back at the text again. Find the bit where Mr. Fox knows the farmers are outside. And how does he know? And in fact, this last question is just copied from that one. So I'm going to delete that question now. So you don't have to answer the same question twice. That would be bonkers. Okay. That's your quiz for today. Remember, go back, listen to the text again, read the text. It's on the screen there for you to read as well. It's not just me reading to you. And see if you can answer today's comprehension questions. Okay, let's have a look at our writing activity for today. Now, we've done a writing activity like this before, but we're going to update it a little bit because we're further on in the story. So instead of how do they feel, it's how do they feel now. I've got today's date, which is Wednesday the 8th of July. And the LI is still I can use subordinating conjunctions. So we're going to explain how the characters are feeling, or we're going to explain their actions in Chapter 8. Let's look at our success criteria. Write in full sentences using capital letters and full stops. That's the same for all writing. We're going to use because when we're explaining the character's feelings. I feel sad because I'm worried about the shovels. We're going to use so when we're explaining the character's actions going forward. I was worried about the shovels, so I decided we should dig a tunnel. And we're going to use when to show the time conditions for a character's feelings. I was worried when I heard the shovels overhead. Let's add if, shall we? Shall we add it together? I think that's a great idea. Let's pick a colour: red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Use if to show the conditions for a character's feelings. I feel scared if I think about the farmers getting us. Okay, so we're going to imagine we're the characters. I've chosen Mr. Fox, Mrs. Fox. I've chosen the small foxes and Boggis Bunsen being the farmers. And we're going to imagine we're them today. So we're not going to write as if we're us. We're going to write as if we are these characters. Okay, so let's start with Mr. Fox. Right, Mr. Fox, how is he feeling in this chapter? Well, it's not going very well for him, is it? They're beginning to starve. His children want to climb up the hole to try and get the food. And Mrs. Fox is very, very worried. And Mr. Fox, well, he keeps creeping up the hole, smelling, and he can still smell the farmers are there because he can smell Bean. So how is Mr. Fox feeling? Well, he's going to say, I am feeling very worried because whenever I creep up the hole, I can still smell Bean's disgusting stink. So he knows they're still there. Okay, let's try so. I wanted to check if the farmers were there. So I climbed up the hole to take a quick look. That's explaining his actions. Okay, let's use when. Well, what happened in this chapter? Well, his children wanted to climb up the hole and try and steal the chicken for Boggis. Terrible, terrible idea. So he'd be really worried when he heard that idea. I was very worried when my children wanted to steal the chicken from Boggis. And let's choose an if. I will be very nervous if the farmers stay outside my hole forever. Okay, so I've written 4 sentences today. I've used because in this first sentence I've used so in this one, I've used when, and I've used if, and it explains how the characters are feeling and their actions in chapter 8. So I've done that for Mr. Fox. I'd like you to try it for Mrs. Fox, the 4 small foxes, and of course those farmers. How are they feeling at the moment? I bet they're feeling pretty good that their plan's going to work. Okay, have a go at the writing and we'll come back together in a minute for some spelling. Okay, let's look at today's spelling activities. I'm going to start by logging in. Remember, it's important to log in first because you won't get any points if you're not logged in. I'm going to log in and we are going to Year 2. And today's spelling rule is spelling rule 20. Shall we have a look at the words? Okay, and this is the sound when it comes after a W or a QU. So these A's here, they make an sound like wallet, it, wallet, or wander, wander, want, wash, watch, swallow, squabble, that's an argument, quality, quarter, and squash. So these are all words that use that ot sound spelt with an A after a W and a QU. Quite tough words today. I think I'm going to have to practice these a lot. And remember, when you're practicing, it doesn't really matter if you get them wrong, as long as you're learning them and eventually you get them all right. So how many points should I try for today? 500? 500 sounds good. So I'm going to play. And I think I'm going to pick spelling tiles for today. And let's see, I'm going to try type it. Let's hear the words again.
Squash, want, wonder, wash, wallet, quality, watch, swallow, squabble, quarter.
Okay.
They all got in the car, but it was a bit of a squash.
Squash.
Squash. Okay. Click OK and squash. Yes. 2 spelling points.
I want pizza for my lunch.
Want.
Wow. This game's reading my mind. Want. What? Want.
The head teacher used to wander around the school looking for someone to talk to.
Wonder.
I haven't got anything to say about that sentence. Wander. What? Wonder.
The dog was starting to smell, so they gave it a wash.
Wash.
Very sensible thing to do when your dog smells. What? Wash. Getting 2 points every
He
time.
put the change in his wallet.
Wallet.
Wallet. Okay. What? Wallet. 2 more points.
Miss James was so impressed with the quality of Eve's writing.
Quality.
Just like me being impressed by the quality of your work. Quality.
His watch beeped every hour.
Watch.
Okay. Watch. Watch.
Penny found it hard to swallow the medicine.
Swallow.
Okay. Swallow. Swallow.
My brother and I always used to squabble about what to watch on the television.
Squabble.
Squabbles. Squabble.
He ate a quarter of the sweets and saved the rest for later.
Quarter.
Good decision. Probably won't eat too many sweets if he does that. Quarter. Wow, got me some spelling points there. Fantastic. I'm going to go back to the menu. I think maybe I'll pick some more spelling tile activities to do, or I might even play some more games today before I try a test. So, your challenge today, spelling rule 20, the ot sound spelt A after W and QU. See if you can get 500 points today. See if you can get 10 out of 10 on a test. I love logging in and seeing how you're doing on your tests. I've been absolutely amazed to see your scores. They are fantastic. Well done.